Hello and welcome to Grandad's Storytime.
Peppa Pig. Peppa goes to Scotland. One day, Peppa, George, Mummy and Daddy Pig set off for Scotland in their camper van. It was a long journey and Peppa sang all the way. "We're going to Scotland, we're going to Scotland in our camper van." Soon the sat-nav started singing along as well. "We're going to Scotland." Until, finally, "We have arrived in Scotland," announced the sat-nav. "Hooray!" cheered Peppa and George. "Look, Daddy," said Peppa, pointing to the top of a hill. "There's a castle."
"Shall we go and see it?"
asked Daddy Pig. "Yes," says Peppa and George. They couldn't wait to explore. "Yes," said Mummy Pig. She couldn't wait to get out the camper van. At the entrance to the castle, Peppa and her family meet Mr. Macstag.
"Welcome to the best castle in Scotland,"
he said proudly.
"Aye, Mr. Macstag will show you around, but you first must wear these."
Mr. Macstag held up some kilts. "I love my kilt," said Peppa. "How's yours, Daddy?"
"It's a little draughty,"
said Daddy Pig. Mr. Macstag showed them around the castle. He took them to the throne room and up a secret staircase. "Ooh-woo!" called Peppa, listening for her echo. "Ooh-woo!" her echo replied. Then Mr. Macstag told them about a mysterious creature that was said to live in the loch nearby.
"But no one knows if it's real or it's a made-up story,"
he said. "Monster! Roar!" yelled George. "Thank you for showing us the best castle in Scotland," said Peppa as they waved goodbye to Mr. Macstag. "Monster now?" asked George. "We'll look for the monster tomorrow, George," said Mummy Pig. "It's time for bed now." Luckily, George was just excited about sleeping in the camper van. Yippee! The next morning, Peppa and her family sailed out onto the loch with their guide, Miss Rabbit. "Is the monster real?" asked Peppa. "No one's seen it in all my years working here," said Miss Rabbit.
"Look!"
gasped Daddy Pig.
"There's the monster!"
"That's just a branch, Daddy," said Peppa.
"Oh, yes,"
said Daddy Pig, a little embarrassed. Peppa pointed to the other end of the loch. "But that looks like a monster," she said. "OK," said Miss Rabbit. "I'll take us over there. Hold on tight, everyone." Miss Rabbit zoomed the boat over to the other side of the loch. But when they got closer, Peppa realised she hadn't seen the monster. Just some rocks poking out of the water. "Oh," she sighed. "Is that it over there?" asked Mummy Pig, pointing back to the far side of the loch. Miss Rabbit turned the boat around and zoomed back the way they'd come. But when they got there, all they could see were a few plants in the water. "Oh," said Mummy Pig. Soon Miss Rabbit was zooming the boat round and round in circles all over the loch. "There it is! I'm sure of it! No, there it is! It's definitely over there!" "I think we should head back now," said Miss Rabbit. "We're all getting a bit dizzy." Miss Rabbit started to turn the boat round. As she did so, George, who'd been sitting quietly the whole time, suddenly spotted something behind them. "Monster!" called George as loudly as he could. "Monster! Rawr!" But everyone was too tired to look around. "We've stopped looking now, George," said Mummy Pig. "I don't think there's a monster here after all." All the way back to the shore, George had lots of fun talking to the monster, who was following along behind them. Nobody else noticed a thing. "Roar!" said George. "Roar! Roar! Roar!" When Miss Rabbit docked the boat, everyone stepped out onto the jetty. George waved goodbye to the monster. "Who are you waving at, George?" asked Mummy Pig. "Monster friend! Monster friend!" said George, jumping up and down. Everyone looked over and saw the monster. "Shiver me timbers!" gasped Miss Rabbit. "I didn't think it existed." "Wow!" gasped Peppa, Daddy and Mummy Pig. Just then the monster dived down into the water and made a huge splash. Splash! Everybody got soaked. Everyone was very wet, and they were all very happy. Not only had they seen the monster, it had also made them lots of muddy puddles, cheered Peppa, jumping up and down. Peppa and George love Scotland. Scottish muddy puddles are the best.
Thank you for watching. If you like this content, please give me a big thumbs up. Please subscribe, it's free, to support us and allow us to create more great content.